Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to have a talk about a question which is very prominent and is asked by every single student and some ask in almost every single class. But before we look into the question of how long will you take to learn the language and if you are able to learn it in 1 month, let us look at certain essential habits that you need to follow to learn the language. And don't mind if I look down during the video as there are some points that I have made for you which I thought that you must know. Okay, so let us start by discussing the very first point, a habit which you must follow to learn the English language. It is learn the language by listening. Listening is very essential part of our everyday life and it serves many purposes at the same time. For example, you also get to know about the pronunciation and also the sentence structures and the context in one go. Therefore, listening is essential, followed by speaking. If you are taking in something and not giving an output and not practicing that, then it is useless. So, listening and speaking are essential part of any language and particularly English. Let me elaborate on this point by giving another example. If you recall, you learned your mother tongue by listening. Do you remember anybody giving you a quick book to make you learn the language? Let me know in the comment section below what is your mother tongue and how did you learn it? And if you agree with me that it was by first listening and then eventually speaking in parts. First you start with one words and then followed by two or three words combination and then eventually you start speaking fuller sentences and hence you learn your mother tongue. Therefore, it would be wise if you follow the similar pattern which is natural to learn the English language. The second point is get used to people laughing at you because they will. There is no other way out. When you will speak the language, you're sure to make mistakes in the beginning and even in the later stages. But it is all right. You tend to make mistakes, languages evolve, and so do you, and so will your language. So don't worry about how you will speak, what will people say. Start. Just start speaking today. Start speaking right now, is what I would say. Let people laugh. Eventually, you will learn the right language and you will benefit from it. Let me go back to the example of your mother tongue. You might be very fluent today in your mother tongue and you might think that this is how you naturally know the language. But it is not true. When you started speaking your mother tongue in the beginning, you must have made some mistakes. Everybody has made it and you eventually got better. So, similar is the case with learning English language. Don't worry about the mistakes. With time, with more and more practice and your consistency, you will learn the language. So don't worry, with your practice and consistency, you will learn the language quicker than you thought. Let us come to the next point, which I call repeat. As I told you, that listening is a very essential habit for you to learn the language that is followed by speaking. So every day, make it a habit that you listen to something that interests you. Take out time from your schedule and go to some podcasts or blogs or anything that you can hear rather than read and basically choose something that interests you so that you can continue that for a very long time and eventually you will start getting hold of the language. So when you are trying to listen to something and suppose you find a word which you kind of find nice to hear and you didn't know before, or a phrase in total that you really like. For example, let's say that before you used to say, "Oh, how cute is your daughter," but while listening to some audios or anything, you come across a word adorable and you find out it is similar to saying cute. So next time you want to call out somebody cute, you can say, "Oh, how adorable is your daughter." Therefore, a new word, this is how a new word is added into your vocabulary. And repeat this word over and over again so that it stays in your memory and is part of your permanent vocabulary. Then move on to the new words. In the beginning, start with just one word, and then later you can start with learning 2 to 3 words each day, and not just words, phrases, sentences, idioms, or collocations. I would say collocations are the best way to go forward with that because they're easy to understand and they come in chunks. For this purpose, don't forget to check out my other videos in which I talk about alternate ways to say different words like sorry, yes, I want, and many others. I'll link them down in the description box below. The next and the last point is it is very, very, very essential. Please take a note of this, that get away from books. Yes, you heard me right. Don't get into books to learn the language. This is not the right way. And don't make the mistake of trying to learn the words from the dictionary. It will do you no good and you will end up wasting a lot of time that you will regret later in your ages, because that time you could have used to learn the real actual language that you use in your real life. Now you must be wondering that how do I get away from books? Well, I've answered this before. The way is that you listen to more and more things in English and then you practice that. You can practice that alone, but along with that, a group talk or maybe a talk in English with real people in your life would benefit you a lot. Maybe you can choose a topic which interests you. For example, I'm very much interested in, let's say, fashion, or the new thing that is coming up about fashion is sustainable fashion. So I'll try and hear about it, read more about it, and but because I'm beginning, I'll listen more about it. Therefore, I build a vocabulary around the topic that I like, and I'll be interested to listen to it more and more. And because I'm interested in that topic, I'll also understand many things and hence learn the language, and then I can follow it by speaking. Of course, you can not speak always to yourself, and then you can also talk to people around you. Get yourself a partner with whom you can talk in English every day for at least 30 minutes. But if you cannot even afford that, maybe 10 to 15 minutes is a good start. Now let us talk about the elephant in the room, the question that you have been waiting for to be answered towards the end of the video. The question is, can I learn the language in just 1 month? I would say no and also yes. It completely depends upon your efforts. But if you think that in 1 month you are going to learn the entire language, which is very, very, very vast, vast beyond our imagination, then my friend, you are wrong. Therefore, with language, you need to have patience. And again, let us go back to the example of your mother tongue. Right now, you might think it comes naturally to you and you understand everything in that language, but you don't. And even if you do, you don't realize it has been the work of many years that you didn't realize are actually paying attention to, because constantly you have been practicing it and listening it from other people and practicing it, reading about it, and also writing it. It didn't happen right after 1 month of your birth. Therefore, language requires time and it can only come through the natural process, as I talked about in the video, of listening and speaking and repeating it over and over again, and by staying away from books, because that is not the natural way how humans learn the language, even in ancient times. Therefore, if you want any shortcuts to learn the language, then I don't think that there is any shortcut, and you have to put extra effort to learn the language. Say that your 1 month investment to learn the language will not go waste, as there is still something of that huge chunk that you are going to learn. But if you think that you are going to become an expert on the language, then no, you are wrong, and I would be wrong to say that too. Therefore, my advice is to be patient with the language and also be consistent, and you will eventually learn the language. That's it for today's video. I hope you're liking the content, and if you want me to make more such videos, then let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.